welcome back. Night 4 of Marriage Week. We're so glad that you have joined us, that you've made this an important part, a priority in your week. And we encourage you right now, drop a comment in the chat, right? It's just welcoming, it'll build community, and if you've been with us all 4 nights, it seals your chance to get in the drawing for perfect attendance for that Daniel's Broiler gift card.
Absolutely. Well, we got another fun theme for you tonight. We told you yesterday. We hope you were prepared. But even if you're not, tonight is dessert night. And I know that we're going to have some cheesecake. It's one of our favorite things.
Yes.
Really looking forward to that. But maybe you are going to make cookies or brownies. And we would love to see those pictures. So as we've been doing out throughout this whole week, post your pictures in our Facebook page. Just go to Facebook and type in Eastridge Marriage Week. And you'll find lots of information there and a lot of fun pictures.
That's right. And if you're not on Facebook, you don't do Facebook, you deleted Facebook, you can email those pictures to groups@eastridgetoday.com and you'll still be entered into the prize. And for a great dessert or for a really satisfied looking face having eaten dessert, that's up to you.
Right.
You could win. If you win that, you'll win the Enneagram book that we talked about last night, Becoming Us, using the Enneagram to create a gospel-centered marriage. Really great tool for marriage.
Awesome, yeah. So tonight, we're talking about date night, and we're going to talk about date night, which is going to happen tomorrow night.
That's right.
And so Dan's going to tell us a little bit about something that we learned, and we hope it spurs you on. And this is something that you keep doing in your marriage. We believe that liking each other and spending time together is one of the keys to having a great marriage. So tell us about Les and Leslie Parrott and all that they brought to our marriage.
Date night is something that is important. Anybody who studies marriage or relationships will tell you, do a date night. Make it a priority. If you've got kids, do a babysitter. If you're on a tight budget, budget it in. Make it a priority. And it's something that the first few years of our marriage, I want to say the first 4 or 5 years of our marriage, we really made a priority to do it every Friday night. But once we got 2 kids, it got a little bit tougher. And honestly, we ran into an issue where date night was always kind of the same. We did dinner and we did a movie, right? And so at first it was really exciting and fun, but dinner and a movie, after a while you go, is it really worth it to spend this much on the babysitter and this much on dinner and this much on the... We could just stay home and just be a lot. And eventually it kind of faded away. We kind of scratched it. Then we watched a short video, a marriage encouragement video from Doctors Les and Leslie Parrott. And they talked about making date night adventure night. Using date night to be an adventure. And what they were talking about was, when you do date night, if it's boring, right? But if you instead thinking of it as what's something new, novel, creative, or exciting we can do, there's something physiological that happens, right? So the example they gave is they went out on a date night and they took flying trapeze lessons. Flying trapeze lessons. Who does that, right?
Not me.
They said it was the first time and the last time they ever did flying trapeze lessons. But because it was a little scary, because it was a little embarrassing, their heart was beating, their endorphins were up, their adrenaline was up, and it recreates the sensation almost of falling in love for the first time. Those emotions being high, that heart beating fast, your body thinks, this is exciting, right? It's exciting being with you. And as married couples, we want to reinforce that idea. So what we want to encourage you to do is not to go on flying trapeze lessons, unless that's what you want to do. You can do that if you want to.
Right.
But think of things that are out of the ordinary, new or exciting that you can do together that might create that kind of adrenaline, emotional high adventure together. We had an adventure like this just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were going to go to dinner, and I don't know if you've noticed, but over the last few months, there's not a ton to do. Movie theaters are closed. You can't go to a play. You can't go to a concert, anything like that. So we were just going to go to dinner. But because there's not much else we can do, we thought instead of just going to dinner, what we'll do is we will canoe to dinner.
Right.
So we were going to go to
Which
dinner.
I had hesitations about. Like, are we going to get there? We're all dressed up in a canoe.
We put in the canoe in the Seattle Arboretum and just kind of canoed around the Horn to Madison Park,
Right.
pulled our canoe up on the beach, and went to dinner. And it was exciting, right?
Yeah.
It was exciting because it was a beautiful night. It was in July. It was actually July 3rd. We saw animals, little turtles,
Yeah.
a beaver dam with beavers swimming all over it. It was
was
really
amazing.
cool. And then we, pulled our canoe up on the beach and people were laughing at us or at least looking at us funny. And so that was a little bit of an adventure. And we canoed back and it started to get a little dark. So that was a little bit scary, but it was the 3rd of July, and somebody at the park we were about to launch in or load in at started shooting off huge fireworks, right? There was no fireworks this year for 4th of July for most of us, but we got a private fireworks show right in our canoe. It was exciting and amazing, and all of those things that we were talking about earlier, raising that sense of adrenaline, making your heart beat fast. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And right now we live in such a tech-savvy world where even if we go out to dinner, most of the time we're on our phones. We're not even creating new memories. We're just scrolling through old memories, right? And so this idea of creating a new memory and even having something to talk about, being interesting people is so important. And so all along the idea with this date, adventure that we're talking about, Dan and I were driving through downtown Burien, of all places, and we saw this little street that looked really cute. We had never been there, lived in Seattle most of our lives, and we thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we started to explore all the tiny pockets of Seattle, little one street, main streets that we had never been to. And so we're going to post somewhere in the chat for you or even on Facebook this app that we called the Wheel app.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. And so Dan put all of the tiny pockets of Seattle that we wanted to just kind of explore.
Yeah.
And we spin the app. It tells us that day where we're going to go. So we've been to crazy places already. We've been to South Park. We've been to Wedgwood. We've been to Maple Leaf. We've been to Madrona. And it has been so much fun because we're looking up the history of those little pockets of Seattle, which gives us something to talk about on the drive. We're not just talking about the kids again or talking about the finances. And we're talking about the history. We're going to find the best food in that pocket. And then we're just kind of exploring the neighborhood. And we've seen some quirky people. We've taken photos of some beautiful homes. And we've just had a great time together. In fact, last week, we went to Madrona to an Ethiopian restaurant. Now, neither of us had Ethiopian food. So we had the waitress actually order for us. And I'm telling you, it was so good. And then to go a step further, just to kind of raise that excitement and something for us to talk about, we actually mailed that little restaurant owner best Ethiopian food in Seattle. Not that we're anybody. A certificate from our blog. And you can follow our blog. It's called the Seattle Neighborhood Date Challenge.blogspot.com. We'll post that in the chat too. And you could actually follow our date challenge and do it yourself. And there's something special that happens. And ladies, I just want to say to you as well, if you have felt kind of down and frumpy, or there's just not that spark, that connection that you used to know, there's something that happens when you do something exciting together. It actually causes you to long to be intimate together. And we love that. That's God's design for your marriage, to really love one another, to know one another, and just to have that spark again. So what else have we done? Yeah, well, here's one that maybe what we talked about is just so overwhelming for you. You're like, whoa, that's just not us. It's us. And it works really well for us because Rebecca really likes to take pictures. Mm-hmm. She likes to blog. I like to do research and look at what the history of the neighborhood is, or where we can go in certain neighborhoods. Where can we find a 19-foot tall rock in the middle of a neighborhood in Seattle, right? Yeah. But that works for us. But you got to find what works for you. Here's one thing that was really easy for us. And this was actually the very first date we went on, probably back in May or June, whenever restaurants were closed forever and then opened up for the first time. Mm-hmm. But there was nothing else to do. And even the restaurants, we were the only person in the restaurant because they were open at whatever 10% capacity or something. Rebecca had this great idea. She just told our kids, who are very creative, and you probably got some creative kids too if you got older kids, to say, hey, can you do something for us? Can you write
some photo challenge dares
Right.
for us. Don't tell us what they are, and then we'll go and do them. And my girls, they loved it. They were spending time in their room. I didn't even know what they were doing. It was a secret to me. But they put them in a sealed envelope, and then when we got to dinner, there were these little challenges. Like they said, take a picture with a statue, right? In Kirkland, where we went, there's lots of statues. Take a picture wearing masks. Take a cheesy romantic picture. There were some other ones there, really funny stuff.
Yeah.
Just crazy, and we didn't do all of them, you know. Some of them we didn't want to do, but that was fine. But it added a little bit of a risk, you know, a little bit of putting ourselves out there a little bit.
Yeah.
And it made a memorable date night.
Absolutely. Just anything different, anything out of the ordinary to create an adventure. In fact, I've got some friends who their kind of adventure date and something to talk about is they kind of go incognito. They park their car in front of 7-Eleven. They get Slurpees and Big Gulps, and then they just watch people go in and they talk and they say, what is that guy doing? What's his life story? And they tell each other that person's life story. And that's hilarious. I mean, those are the kind of memories that could keep you up laughing forever. But at the beginning of our marriage, we were on a super tight budget. I mean, young married. And so Dan came up with a really creative idea to keep in the boundary of being frugal, but also of doing something exciting. And we want to tell you about this because we want you to know date night doesn't always have to cost money. It doesn't always have to be this elaborate plan. In fact, when we go on our dates, we don't really always know where we're going. But we have a shared heart, and that's to open our heart to do something new. So tell us about your idea that you had.
Yeah, so we were with a couple of limitations early on in our marriage. It was actually Rebecca's birthday. I was going to take her out for a birthday date when this idea first started. But my budget was about $35, right? Which doesn't get you very far on a date, but just as a young married couple, that's where we were. And then the second part, challenge, and maybe some of you run into this, was I struggle with imposing on her what we should do, right? Because I don't want to do something that she doesn't want to do, but at the same time, and you probably know this from experience, just saying, what do you want to do for your birthday, usually doesn't get very far either. You've got to plan something.
Right.
So what I did is I researched maybe 20 different things we could do, and then made birthday bucks that each cost a different amount. Some of the things were free. Her birthday's in December, and we went to or it was an option to go to the Garden Delights in Bellevue Botanical Gardens, which then was totally free. Now it's maybe a parking fee or something, but that cost $0 birthday bucks, right? And then maybe dinner at the old spaghetti factory was 25 birthday bucks, and they were all denominations. And so I gave her this big pile of essentially coupons and said, you get to spend 35 of these. What do you want to do? And so I just know her, and I know that she was like, okay, this one for $5, that looks fun. Boy, I really want to go pottery painting, but that means we're going to have to do a dinner that's a little bit less. And it was kind of a fun way to work within a budget. We bring that up just to say there's lots of different ways to put a positive spin on negative things. We could have said, $35 isn't enough to do anything, okay? Here's cash for your birthday. Happy birthday, right? But to put some thought, put some energy into a date can really be a memory for years to come. We wanted to hear from some of our other pastor couples about what was a date they did that was memorable for them.
Yeah, so let's just take a minute and watch these clips from our pastors.
Hey guys, Josh and Carrie here, and we're super excited about Marriage Week and super excited to be able to tell you a little bit about some of the things that we do for date night. So, Carrie, tell them about one of the things that we do pretty regularly.
Well, one thing we do is pick the gift card for dinner date night. So I actually really like gift cards and I kind of hoard them.
That's true.
And so we have a lot of gift cards. So we'll just, pick a gift card. And, oh, that's a good one.
Looks like we're going to California for date night. In and out.
Or Oregon. We could drive to Oregon.
It's true. Not as fun as California.
So this one tends to be great because you don't know what you're going to get.
Well, the truth is, if we're being totally honest, we're really bad at planning ahead for date night. So we like the spontaneity of just being able to get in the car and pick where we end up.
That's true. And
neither of us are really picky when it comes to where we go. So.
No. Another thing we like is a competition, friendly competition.
Love competition. I'm glad you said it was friendly.
When we were dating, I told Josh to never let me win a game ever.
It's true. Which I had no problem with.
And he hasn't, so it's great. But one of our favorite things to do, unless it's, pouring rain, is putt-putt golf.
Yep.
I can almost beat him at putt-putt golf.
She's very good.
That is one of our favorite things to do on date night, date day, date morning, whatever.
Yeah. So those are a couple good ideas. Hopefully you guys, if you don't have gift cards, go find some. Go get yourself some gift
I
cards.
heard they sell them at Safeway.
Play gift card roulette, or go find something competitive to go do together. Get the juices flowing. So those are a couple ideas from us.
Best date ever. That's an easy one for me. Shannon and I agreed to start dating while we were sitting on the back bumper of his Chevy Malibu Classic after a church softball game on June 1st, 1989. I know that doesn't sound very romantic, but for me it was the best day of my life. And now, for 31 years since we've been together, Shannon has not forgotten one time to celebrate that day. I wish that I could say that I was as good at remembering as he is, but it usually occurred to me right about the time somebody walked in with flowers, or I walked into my office or my house and found a gift on the table, and all of a sudden I thought to myself, today's the day. And every year since then, he has been faithful to celebrate that day with me with some of the most creative gifts ever. In fact, on our 25th anniversary, I came home to flowers and a softball that was signed saying, "I'm so glad you said yes." So it's a little bit of a spin on dating or our best date ever, but for me, it literally is the best date ever.
One of the things Pastor Steve and Cheryl like to do for a spontaneous date moment is, even if it's cold outside, to go for a drive with the top down on their little convertible, breathing in fresh air, listening to some fun 70s music, and taking a break together. And on their playlist, You're Still the One.
You say
tomato.
I say tomato.
Hi, my name is Billy.
I'm Linda. We have very different personalities, and we tend to focus on the other person and what they would enjoy if we were planning a date night. One of the areas we tend to do that are with movies. I cannot tell you how many DC and Marvel movies I've been to.
And I know that somewhere down the road, I will be enjoying a romantic comedy or a foreign film with subtitles. We were asked to share with you a memorable date night. We were gifted ballroom dancing with other couples.
This would definitely be an occasion that would be beyond our comfort zone, coloring outside of the line, not necessarily an event that we would plan for the other person. But we were pleasantly surprised in that the instructor was really clear from the beginning. Focus on each other and have fun. And when she had said that, it placed everybody at ease, and we can truly tell you it was a fun evening together.
That's right. So the focus is on the other person and enjoying the moment. I know you might be wondering right now, what was the outcome of that night? Well, simply put, I know that I have two left feet, and the instructor was very clear that Linda is rhythmically inclined, and I need to work on fluid motion. All right, everyone, so glad to be here with you. We'll see you soon. Cha-cha-cha.
I love just hearing simple ideas, or maybe not so simple ideas, from other people, because it inspires me, right?
Yeah.
Even if I don't do, or if you don't do exactly what you heard somebody else do, maybe a little spark, just a little like, you know what, that reminds me, we could do this, goes a long way.
Absolutely. And so we have a really important kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a checklist or whatever of things to do, because even after taking that Enneagram test yesterday, you found out quickly that we're different people. You married somebody different. And I think over time, our marriages can start to feel like they're drifting, like we don't have anything in common anymore. Maybe you started out with one commonality, like when you were in your 20s, you both worked out and you were super fit, but now you're older and that's not a commonality anymore, and you feel like we have nothing in common. So this is a really important checklist that Dan's going to share with you that will actually help you start to kind of whittle down what is it that we both like to do? What is both like a number one thing that we would do or enjoy doing? And then let's focus on doing those things. So tell us about this.
Yeah, this comes from Dr. Willard Harley, who wrote the book, His Needs, Her Needs. The basic idea here is that for a lot of people, recreational enjoyment is core to feeling loved.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not you and you go, I care less about doing stuff with my spouse, there's a good chance that your spouse, this is very, very important to them, right? Because it's just how we're built. Usually it's the male in the relationship, the husband, who this is very important for. Doing activities with his wife that you both enjoy is really important. Now, what happens in dating relationships is they'll fake it, right? The boyfriend and
Right.
girlfriend, they just want to be together. So maybe let's take NASCAR racing, right? Like the husband's really in, or the boyfriend is really into NASCAR racing or something like that. The girlfriend goes, yeah, let's
I can
go.
dress cute for that.
Right? Let's go watch some cars. We'll go around the track. And then once they get married, she goes, glad that's over.
Yeah, I hate NASCAR.
And he says, wait, what? I thought that's what our relationship was built on. And there's an empty spot in his heart where he doesn't get to spend time doing things with his best friend.
Right.
The point here is not that wives, you have to like the things your husband likes. That's not the goal.
Right.
The goal that we're trying to get at with this recreational enjoyment inventory is to find things that both of you like to do. So I'm going to give you the assignment and you take it and run with it. Download the PDF of the recreational enjoyment inventory and go through the whole thing. Instructions are on there, but here's what you do just for people who don't like to read instructions.
That's me.
You mark each one with a score. +3 if you really like it, -3 if you really hate it. And you'll see there's everything you can think of on here. You've got archery on there. Let's take. Maybe I go, archery. I can do archery. I'll give that a 2. I don't know. Rebecca says, no, veto. She gives that a negative anything. It doesn't matter. If you give it a negative score, it's pretty much scratched off the list. You go through the whole list and then you give it, positive or negative score.
Right.
Then you go back through together, or actually before you're done, write in some things you didn't see on the list.
Yeah, like matching socks. Just kidding. I don't like to do that really.
Well,
but
maybe
we
somebody
could do
does.
that.
It's not really recreation, right? But this recreational inventory you'll see was written a few years ago. So there's some things on there like canasta. Like, I don't think maybe canasta is probably not so popular, but maybe you don't see geocaching on there, or you
Right.
don't see unicycling on there. You write those in, right? And then both of you answer for those things as well. Then go through your whole list and identify the things that both of you have given either a 2 or a 3. So
Right.
maybe you gave it a 2, I gave it a 3.
Yep.
We put that on the list, right? Now, there's like 200 things on this list, 250 maybe if you've added some in. Out of that, most of them you're probably not. You're going to give it a 1. Somebody's going to give it a negative. You'll give it a 0. You don't care. Most of them you're going to scratch off the list.
Right.
But you'll probably end up with maybe 20 things that you both like to do. Now go through that list of 20 and pick 6 of them. All right. So for example, one of the things that we both gave a 3 to was yachting. We both
Yeah.
love yachting.
We've never been on a yacht.
But guess what? We don't have a yacht. We just scratched that one off, right? But pick 6 things that you both love to do. Then use those to plan your dates together. What Dr. Harley says to do, the writer of this, is to do nothing with anyone else and don't do anything else together till you've done all 6 of those things together, right? And so don't hike with your friends, don't go for a bike ride with your buddy, and just be your partner's number 1 recreational companion until you've done all of those things, till you build that habit of doing recreation together.
Yep.
This is really, really important. So important, I want to reinforce this for you, right? This might be awkward to say, but it needs to be said. Recreational enjoyment is core to feeling loved, especially for men. So if you have a recreational partner that's of the opposite sex,
Right.
stop it. If your jogging buddy is, the neighbor lady or the guy you met at the gym, that's dangerous stuff, right? And you maybe you thought, oh yeah, my spouse, they play tennis with one of our friends and she's female or he's male, whatever, and I don't think anything of it. It might not be a big deal, but it's dangerous, and you shouldn't do it. So have that discussion. Make your partner your number one recreational companion, and make all your other recreational companions the same gender as you. That's really important.
Yeah, I won't go into this, but Dan and I talk a lot about filling each other's buckets. And maybe you're at a season in your marriage where you have just felt really depleted for a long time. This is a really easy activity to just start to put some deposits in your marriage. And, don't go into these activities thinking, great, I've got him alone for a long drive or a long canoe ride, and now I can just dump all of the issues on him. Focus on the recreation. Focus on the beauty of God, the nature around you, the funny people, the quirky instances, and really train yourself to be in the moment. Enjoy the moment. Don't talk about the hurting kids at home or whatever you do. This is really important for you just to start to put a deposit in an empty love tank and just start there, because the Lord knows that there's issues, and some of these issues are lifelong. But it's so important to start to build on some of these things.
Yeah.
So this is really exciting. It's Thursday night, and tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow is date night. And so we wanted to help you succeed and be successful. And you might be sweating already thinking, oh shoot, I hate date night. So much pressure. It's like Valentine's Day. It's so gimmicky. But what we want you to see is that it's simple. Do something funny. Do something fun. Just go explore a neighborhood and take a stroll together, something that you haven't done. But we want to encourage you to do some things tonight. A couple things are, we've deemed that it's fancy night. Now, maybe if you're going hiking or biking, you don't want to dress fancy. But
Might be fun.
We want to give couples the opportunity to dress fancy. And because of quarantine, maybe you just want to have an in-home dinner. Set out a picnic blanket. In fact, do reverse. Eat under the table. Put the candles on. Maybe if you've got kids at home and you feel like we can't go on a date night, have them cook you dinner. Have them make you a kids menu.
Or at least serve you dinner.
Absolutely, and put on some fun music. Think of something creative to do, but pick out your outfit tonight. And then the second thing is, clean your bedroom. Now, this might be a no-brainer for some of my amazing OCD friends who make your bed every day. I don't, and I love to just put my clothes on the ironing board on the side of the bedroom. So this is a great opportunity for you, your husband and wife, to make your room special. Make it special for date night. You want to come home from that date with clean sheets and candles or whatever it would be, and just make it a special environment. So don't forget to post those dessert pictures tonight for a chance to win those prizes, the Amazon gift card and that book as well. And then also tomorrow, we want to see those date night pictures from you, and we'd love to pick a winner for the date with that photo book.
Yeah, so your assignment for tonight, do the recreational enjoyment inventory.
Right.
Go through that whole list, pick things that you like to do, then plan your date night. It could be one of the things that's on that inventory. It could be something that you heard us talk about or one of the other couples talk about that was creative, or just something you think would be fun. Plan your date night and go on a date. Post pictures to the Facebook group, and let's enjoy date night together.